Hello and welcome back to Steph's Point. Today we are going to be talking all about Arabesque. Arabesque is a beautiful extension and is used across the board in dance. It's used in contemporary, modern, jazz, ballet, of course. It originated in ballet and it is so gorgeous, and I'm here to tell you all the things you need to know on how to improve your arabesque. So if you want to get better at your arabesque, make sure you keep on watching because I got all the tips, all the tricks, everything you need to know all about it, and we're going to start talking about that right now. Okay, so the first tip I have for you today is to understand which muscles are involved in lifting your leg into an arabesque. You have three major muscles apart from your abs. Your abs are used for everything in dance, so I'm not including those on the three major muscles that are used in your arabesque, but the three main muscle groups you need to worry about are your back, your glutes, and your inner thighs. Most of us know that we need our back and our glutes to lift our leg into a beautiful arabesque position, but we neglect to think about our inner thighs. Your inner thighs are what makes your leg go directly behind you, keeps it in a beautiful turned out arabesque, and helps you avoid the awkward secabesque position. You're asking me right now, what's secabesque? I'll give you my quick definition. Secabesque is the awkward position between second and arabesque. It is not an actual position and should never be used in dance. You don't want to have your leg in secabesque. It's just ugly, it's awkward, it makes you look like you really don't know what you're doing. So to keep that leg pulling behind you and turned out and beautiful, you have to activate your inner thighs. Okay, now that we understand the major muscle groups involved, we can get into the other tips and tricks. The second tip that I have for you in improving your arabesque is to work your back muscles. Your back is so important not only in your arabesque, but also in all the things you do in dance, and I think that dancers tend to neglect their back muscles, whereas gymnasts are like, we're all about it. I teach acrobatic arts as well as dance, so for me, working my back is just a natural thing that I do all the time to improve my acro, but I can't tell you how much it improves your dancing and especially your arabesque. So if you want to get better at extending through your back, using your back muscles, and get more mobility in your spine, I made 2 whole videos on how to do that, and I will link them in the description box below. Mind you, those videos are not the best quality as far as sound and camera go. However, the content is still valid and super great, so if you want to watch those videos, click them below. Just be nice to me, y'all. I'm learning as I go, okay? But I will give you a couple easy things that you can do at home in this video as well. The first and most important thing is just doing trunk lifts or Supermans. Now, anytime that you do a Superman or a variation on a trunk lift, it's important that you think about elongating your spine and lifting up. Imagine that somebody has a hold of your wrists and your feet and they're pulling you apart and lifting your legs and your arms up to the ceiling, instead of just going and lifting up and crunching in your lower back, because that's just going to lead to injuries later on. You want to elongate your spine and lift it off the floor. I hate pressure on the lower back. It's just scary and just not helpful. Okay, so here's a couple variations. You can do them with your arms behind you, lifting up through your chest and opening through your chest. You can do them with your hands by your ears, lifting just your trunk, or lifting your trunk and your feet, or you can relax your body on the floor and just lift your legs to target more of your glutes and your lower back. So those are my quick variations, but again, if you want a full in-depth video on how to improve your extension and your strength in your back, click the link below because I have those already for you. The third tip I have for you is to increase the strength in your inner thighs. Like I said before, increasing your inner thigh strength is gonna hold your leg behind you and not allow it to swing out to that Arabesque land that nobody wants to live in. So how do you improve your inner thighs? Okay, so I'm about to give you a tip that changed the way that I do tendus derriere. About 3 years ago, I had a teacher give me this tip and I was like, girl, I've been doing these wrong my entire life? Why didn't anyone tell me? So when you're going into a tendu derriere, I want you to imagine, this is so simple, but it changes the way that you move. Imagine that you're trying to keep your heel on the floor the entire time. So you're pressing your heel towards the floor as it goes out and as it comes in. And what this will do is activate your inner thighs and your rotators and really turn out your leg. Most of the time we just release our heel to the back when we do our tendu derriere and we go into kind of like a halfway turned out, halfway parallel tendu. Avoid this by just imagining that you're trying to press your heel to the floor. Do it right now, like do a quick tendu and I'm telling you, you're gonna feel your turnout muscles kick on, wake up, and you're gonna be like, oh, I see. If you always do your tendus like that in every ballet class you take or just do some tendus at home, it will astronomically increase your arabesque because it's gonna increase those muscles that you use to pull your leg into arabesque. That is my pro tip for you right there. But if you want to also get some ideas on how to improve your inner thigh strength, I have tons of exercises. My favorite exercises being like scissors, leg lifts to the side. I have so many exercises that I like to do and I would love to make a video about that for you. If you would like it, just comment below and I'll make that video. Now we're on to tip number 4, and that is to work your glutes. Let me see that booty work, booty work, booty work. But seriously, working your glutes is going to help you hold your leg in a beautiful arabesque line and keep it up there so that you can do arabesque turns, you can PK arabesque and just freeze for a long time. You can do all kinds of things if you have strong glutes, and strong glutes will also prevent injuries in a ton of other skills in dance. When you land from a leap, having stronger glutes is going to help you absorb the impact from your leap. It's going to help you jump higher off the floor. Just glutes in general are super good for your dancing. So I have a couple exercises that I like to do particularly for arabesque for my glutes, and the first one is to do donkey kicks on the floor, and I like to do these with a straight leg. The most important thing when you're doing these is to not put any pressure on your spine and to not use your back at all. And how you do this is you go on all fours and squeeze your abdominal muscles so that your back is completely flat as a board. It should be 100% straight. Then you're going to tendu your foot into a pointed, turned out arabesque and lift it off the floor as high as you can without arching in your lower spine or letting your pelvis spill forward. You want your pelvis to stay completely neutral and lift your leg as high as you can and then bring it right back down. You can do these nice and slow and then change up the speed, do some that are fast. You can add in pulses at the top, switch it up, just find ways that really activate your glutes and help you to increase the range of motion in your arabesque, and work that a couple times a week to improve that muscle. The 5th tip that I have for you is to learn how to bevel your feet. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, wait girl, you told us the 3 most important things and feet were not one of them. I know. Feet are essential in everything in dance, but a bevel in your foot is going to completely change the way your arabesque looks. It's gonna give the illusion that your leg is even higher than it actually is because that bevel is going to point up to the ceiling. The worst thing is when somebody has their leg in a beautiful, high, perfect arabesque and then their foot is hanging off the end like a floppy fish. I see that and I'm just like, I can't. You ruined it! But seriously, having your foot beveled at the end is going to completely change your arabesque. If you want to learn how to bevel your foot and how to increase the strength and flexibility in your feet, I have a whole video on that and I will link it in the description box below so that we can move on to tip number 6. And tip number 6 is pretty obvious. You need to stretch. Your hip flexors, if they are tight, they will restrict the mobility of your leg going in arabesque. If your back is tight, it's gonna restrict your mobility. If your hamstring on your standing leg is tight, it's going to restrict your mobility. You have to stretch in order to increase your flexibility. Now, I don't want you to go out and buy one of those weird fancy stretchy things that like hang over the door and the girl's like yanking her leg up into some crazy position. Every time I see one of those, I'm like, oh, because all I think is, hate that, in your lower back, just crunching into your lower back. And that puts so much pressure on your spine and is not going to increase your flexibility in your arabesque. It's only going to put pressure on your spine and cause your spine to get more flexible in a very harmful, negative way, okay? So, stretch slowly and progressively over time, not once a week, ripping your leg out of its socket and then waiting a week and then doing it again. Your muscles, when you overstretch, cause micro tears in your muscles, and then protein bodies come in and they repair. They go in and do a bunch of patchwork on all of those little tears, and usually they repair it even tighter than it was before you ripped those little micro tears into your muscles. So stretch slowly over time to increase your flexibility, not all at once ripping your leg. Okay, glad we got that out of the way. And the last and final tip that I have for you today is to work on your arabesque technique. Now I know that sounds like, well, duh. But hold on, I have a couple great tips that you can use to do this. The first is to try arabesque in plie, making sure that your hips are square and you're lifting your leg as high as you can. Now when you plie, you allow for a little more space in your hip socket and you can get your leg slightly higher than you would when you were standing. So plieing and pressing your leg up as high as you can, and then lengthening in your standing leg to be fully straight, and trying to leave your leg up in an arabesque just as high as it was in plie is going to increase the range of motion of your arabesque. And then another great thing that you can do are arabesque pulses standing. So you can tendu derrière, lift your leg up. I like to bump on some of my favorite tunes. Tendu derrière, lift my leg up in 4 counts. So going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then doing 4 pulses at the top, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then lifting my leg as high as I can. Repeat that for like 4 times, then do the other leg, and then over time increase how many repetitions you do. So maybe for a couple weeks you can do it 4 times, and then you can do it 5 times, and then 6 times, and over time you're gonna see your arabesque really lift and really grow in its range and its structure. Now, dance is super cool. And the reason that it's super cool is because it is difficult and it takes a lot of time to master. All the skills we do in dance take so much time, dedication, energy, and consistency. Consistency is key to improving any dance skill. So don't get discouraged. If dance wasn't hard, it wouldn't be impressive and it wouldn't be cool. The reason it's impressive is because it takes so much time. So don't get discouraged. You just have to stay consistent and push yourself and continue to try to improve every single day, just a little bit, and you will see massive progress over time. But it takes time. There's no quick fixes. There's no one answer to improve your arabesque or improve your pirouettes or improve anything in dance. It just takes practice, time, dedication, energy, and of course, loving yourself enough to give yourself that time and to not get stressed out if you don't see results right away. You gotta just keep working it, keep doing it, and never, ever let anyone tell you to do anything that causes that to happen. Crunching in your spine, crunching in your body, something that feels uncomfortable. Don't do it. It's not worth your longevity. You might get results now, but over time, you're gonna have injuries instead. So, if you wanna continue your education in dance, you wanna continue growing as a dancer, be sure to subscribe to this channel because I'm here to give you everything that you need. If you have any things that you would like me to cover on this channel, leave them below and I will be happy to do that for you. And of course, like this video if you liked it because that just lets me know that I am helping you guys out and giving you content that's really improving your dance technique. And just a reminder, in dance, you have the power to extend past your personal self. So keep reaching and extending towards your goals and you will see results. Bye guys.